All right, what is up, everybody? Divine Hood here, coming at you with another daily update on Bitcoin in the crypto markets. All right, guys, not a lot has happened today, but I do want to go over. We did have some price action in the morning, and I want to go over what happened because I did get stopped out on that trade. And the reason why yesterday in my video we were coming right up into our golden pocket, I talked about how I was going to take 50% profit on that long trade based off of the three-wave correction that we were seeing to the upside and that we could top out here and roll over. That is what happened. That's why I ended up taking some profit here and moving my stop loss to break even, so it was a risk-free trade. And it ended up happening. So I got stopped out. It was still a win, just not as big as a win as I wanted it to be. But let's go into what happened here. So first off, let me pull that golden pocket. Here, we'll go to the golden pocket. You can see that golden pocket, it was right when I was making my video yesterday. I made two short videos hitting into the golden pocket, starting to see a rejection, and that's why I took some profit there. Now, overnight, let me zoom into the 15-minute chart. Overnight, after rejecting from this golden pocket, we kind of just chopped down in this area, and then this morning we saw a dump to the downside, losing. You can see here what happened. We came down to our descending channel, which is this blue channel here. The descending channel midline in confluence with our ascending channel bottom saw a small bounce, but then lost it. And when we lost it, we really had some volume to the downside. Getting stopped out of my trade at break even after taking 50%. But we came down. So I want to talk about this because technically our wave 4 still has not been invalidated. If we do a Fibonacci pull from the lows of 2 to the highs of 3, here, and we look at that golden pocket, where that golden pocket is coming in, you're going to see here that the golden pocket was not hit yet, and the invalidation for this wave 4 being invalidated for the 5-wave impulse starting from Friday's lows, last Friday's lows, our 4th wave impulse will be invalidated if we hit the 618 at 86 or 85 600-ish. So what happened last night? Rejected from the golden pocket. It was a higher low in the making, and I talked about anytime you break market structure bearishly, sometimes you can look for a higher low, a lower high to come in on the charts where we could reject and then make new lows. Well, we had bearish market structure. We had our high, we had our low, we had a lower high, a lower low. So because we made a lower low, SFPing the lows from 2 nights ago, we were suspecting that, okay, if this is an impulse, it needs to rocket. If it's not going to be an impulse, if it's going to be another corrective move, then the area to look for is between the golden pocket and the 786 was near the top of the channel. And because we broke market structure bearishly, we need to pay attention to our lower high targets. We came up to that lower high target in a very clear 3-wave corrective structure. Anytime I see a clear 3-wave structure like this to the upside and we're coming into our resistance, I am absolutely going to take profits because it could roll over, and it did. Now, we came down and we SFP'd the lows. You can see here we SFP'd the lows, not hitting our golden pocket, and then we saw a push back up into our channel, our ascending channel. Now, I did not take this long because I was actually waiting to come down a little bit lower and hit the golden pocket. You can see the golden pocket was right around the base of the channel, and I just really wanted to see us come down and hit this golden pocket. Even though it would have invalidated the impulse, I still think we can bounce from here because also you have to remember, if we look at our March 9th range, let me get rid of this range for a second, and if we look at our March 9th range, which is like this range we're in from these lows over, and I'm just going to pull to yesterday's price action, you can see that our value area high is in confluence with the golden pocket. So anytime you break a value area high to the upside, oftentimes in healthy markets, the market will come back to it to back test it to see if it's going to flip to support, and the market wants to price in Bitcoin at higher fair value. Now, we have not technically done that yet. So that's why I was looking to come just a little bit lower to hit this. Now, if that happens though, if we do come down and hit that golden pocket, let's talk about this. It will invalidate our 5-wave impulse from Friday. No longer being in a wave 4, it will invalidate the wave 4 and a wave 5 to the upside. And in that case, I would be looking for a lower high to come in on the charts. So first off, let's look at what could happen here. Let me pull this golden pocket a little bit over more. You can see that the 0.65 of the golden pocket is going, if we start to break down now, it's going to be aligning nicely with the bottom of our descending channel, which this descending channel, by the way, does look corrective to the downside. It's not, there's no impulses in here really. This is not impulsive structure. So far, we are not rejecting in a way that makes me think we're really going to break the bigger structure to the downside and see a bigger correction just yet. But if we do start to break this down and come down to our golden pocket, that's going to be a pretty big move, a big deviation of our ascending channel that we're seeing. And if we start to see that, yes, I will look for a scalp long. Let me be clear, scalp long, scalp, small trade. Bounce from this golden pocket. And I will still look for longs if I see confirmation here because it's aligning with the bottom of our descending channel and it's aligning with our value area low of our previous range. I'm going to talk about this value area low because it's shifted, but I'm also looking more at the intermediate range now as well. Okay, so if we come down here and bounce from this value area low, then the wave 4 will be invalidated. The wave 5 will be invalidated. This impulse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 will be invalidated, and then we could look for a lower high to come in on the charts. It's very similar to what we saw yesterday, a lower high to come in on the charts before making new lows again, starting a bearish trend, a bigger bearish trend. So if we come down here, bounce, I will look to long if we have confirmation, but then what I'm going to do is take my golden pocket from the highs of the channel to what would be the lows. This is theoretical because it hasn't happened yet, but I'm going to put it on the 0.5. You can see that where's our golden pocket retrace coming in? Our bearish retrace is coming in right at the bearish backtest of our pink ascending channel that we would be losing. It's also at the top of our descending channel where we could see a rejection at the top of the channel like we have here, here, and here. So in that case, I would look for the long from this golden pocket and I would look to TP at least 75% of it up at around 87,600 to 87,500, where then if we start rejecting from this area and I see bearish confirmation to short, I will look to short for the real breakdown. Until that happens, this is just a scenario that I'm looking at, a trade, possible scalp trade setups I'm looking at within this smaller range here. But we have to map this out as potential scenarios that can happen in the market. Okay, now another reason why I'd be looking for this long from this golden pocket, I want to talk about a pattern called a 3 drives pattern. And a 3 drives pattern is when you see 2 SFPs of 3 lows. So this morning we SFP'd our low from yesterday. Okay, that's 1 SFP, 2 lows here. Now, tomorrow or tonight, or however long it takes, if we come down and SFP our low from today into the golden pocket and into the bottom of the channel, that would give us our 3 drives pattern, which is oftentimes a reversal pattern. 1, 2, 3 with 2 SFPs in there. And then you would see a reversal. Now that reversal, I'd be expecting it to end up here. But the 3 drives patterns are great patterns to trade from, especially if a 3 drive pattern is SFPing into a support level you're watching. So the 3 drives pattern is definitely something I'm going to be watching. Now, I'm not going to set a limit down here in long because we could bust straight through, because we could bust straight through this. So in that case, what I'd be waiting for is the push, the move down to here, the bounce from the golden pocket, and the second we reclaim this low, I'm longing it and putting my stop below that low, targeting up here. So in that case, it would be something like this. Stop would go below wherever the low was, a wick, leave a little bit of breathing room, targeting up here, 4-to-1, 4.35 risk to reward ratio. That's still a great trade. Great scalp trade to look for. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at locally on Bitcoin. But because we have not hit our invalidation yet, technically our wave 4 impulse correction of the impulse is still valid. And we still could find support where we're at right now, kind of chopping right around the bottom of this descending channel. It's really trying to hold us. we're starting to get weak here, but we could come up and make new highs. We could even come up to our fifth wave target box up here before coming down here. And in that case, I will not be looking to long this if we come up first to our targets, because I will be looking for bigger swing shorts up here. Okay, so that is the scenario I'm looking at, and I want to talk about this wave 4, because this wave 4, it does still look corrective in this descending channel, and oftentimes your wave 4s are longer than your wave 2s. They're also often a little bit more drawn out with price action, not drawn out time-wise, but also like range-wise. And so if we look at this, how long this wave 4 is taking compared to this one, we're getting close to invalidation time-wise as well, because if this goes on too long, it decreases significantly the probability of this actually being a fourth wave correction before another fifth wave to the upside, an impulse and a fifth wave to the upside. So we can look at our trend-based Fibonacci time. Let's compare the lengths of the corrections here. And you can see here, let me just come into settings real quick. Let me change this to a 3. You can see here that the first low that we made a couple nights ago, it was before our one-to-one correction. And I talked about that the night it happened, the next day. I was concerned that this low was too quick because it didn't even get to our one-to-one, meaning the correction, the length of the correction of the wave 4 was the same length as the wave 2. When we got to the 2-to-1 yesterday, right after the 2-to-1, we hit into that low. That's a perfect area. When your wave 4 is twice as long as your wave 2, that's a perfect area to bounce and actually see the impulse to wave 5. So that's why another reason why I was looking for this long down here of the SFP of these lows into the 0.5. But we had that 3-wave correction as I just described, and we fell back over. Now we are passing the 3-to-1 fib time, 3 times longer. This correction now is over 3 times longer than this correction. If we hit our 4-wave time, our 4 ratio time 4 times longer, it's going to significantly decrease the probabilities that this is a wave 4 with a wave 5 to the upside. It doesn't hard invalidate it, but it significantly decreases the probabilities. So let's go ahead and look at how much longer. So we're here right now. It's going to be about another 22 hours or so, 21 and a half hours until we hit that. So if Bitcoin's going to have to make a move to the upside soon if it really wants to sustain this push to the upside and get that wave 5 to the upside. Not quite yet, but it's getting there. It's getting a little bit long and too drawn out. Okay, so we talked about the 3 drives pattern into our golden pocket. Talked about the retrace. Let's see, what else am I forgetting? Liquidation levels. You can see here on our Model 2 heat map, most of the liquidity is above us, and this liquidity is going to act as a magnet. And technically, because we have not hit our invalidation for the 4th wave yet, there is still a higher probability to come take the highs. Also, we hit our local 886 from so we had our initial high on Monday, came down to our low overnight. The next day, I was streaming live in the Discord while this was happening. We hit into that 886 and rejected from the 886. I know that's kind of hard to see. Let me hide this guy. We hit into the 886 and rejected, and this is when I said, okay, we might be seeing like a ABC correction or a channel that's going to form here. And because we hit into this 886 on a larger trend to the upside, it does make it more probable that we come take these highs. Not guaranteed, but it increases the probability that these highs get taken out eventually. So because of that, and because we haven't hit our invalidation for the impulse, there is still a greater probability to come up one more time and at least take these highs. It could be as simple as an SFP of those highs and then a rollover. Or we could come up all the way to our wave 5 target zone. We don't know yet. We'll have to see how the price reacts. So right now, probabilities locally are still in the bull's favor to come a little bit higher until we tap this golden pocket. With liquidity, most of the majority of the local liquidity being above us, it is going to act as a magnet to bring us up there as well. Let's go to our Model 3 heat map. Look at all that liquidity just above us. I mean, you know, do you think market makers are really going to leave that and dump us right now? It can happen. Don't get me wrong. That absolutely can happen. But usually they stop out the traders and wreck everyone they can. Max pain and then dump. So I really just think that we could see one more high coming in. Let's go in here onto like the 2-week chart. Let's look at our 2-week chart. Yes, so locally, our local liquidity is strongest above us. But overall, if we zoom out on the chart and look at more price action, after we take that high, I am expecting a dump. And I'm expecting a dump at least down to, you know, take this liquidity at 82, 82.5. But, I mean, really, if we start to dump that low down to like 82, you know, that's below our anchored VWAP here. I would expect us to move down all the way to our weekly support box down here, which is near, let me zoom out onto the hourly. If we look at our intermediate range, and now, by the way, this is the range that I'm following the most now, the local range that I'm following the most. After our 5-wave impulse finished to the downside, with our Bybit hack being the start of the impulse, we had this big double 1-2 to the downside. We have been ranging sideways in 3-wave moves. So let me actually back that up a second. 3-wave move during the Trump tweet weekend. 3-wave move to the downside in the ABC to hit our target at 76.6. That's why we were looking to long that. And a bunch of 3-wave moves in this corrective structure to the upside, the bigger daily corrective structure to the upside. So we can look at this intermediate range, by the way, where we rejected from the value area high, and the value area low, or the point of control, is at 84 too. So if we go down to 82 to grab that liquidity, 82.5, we're going to be coming significantly lower than our point of control. You then expect to move down to your value area low, where you can see our value area low is pretty much right where our support box is. We have a weekly, we have a naked daily point of control, we have the value area low of our intermediate range, and we have our golden pocket, which is the golden pocket from the 76.6 lows all the way up to our highs. Golden pocket. You can see that golden pocket's right in there. So absolutely, I do think that if we start to break this down, we could come down here. And even if we come up and hit our wave 5 target, I'm expecting a move at least to come down. Now we would have to adjust the golden pocket in that case, because it would be, you know, it would be higher. And we have liquidity of the second pivot of the channel down there. Remember what I say about these ascending channels. Anytime you see a channel like this and you break it to the downside, if it's an ascending channel, you usually come sweep the liquidity of all these higher lows down to at least the second pivot of the channel, if not sweeping all the liquidity of the entire channel. Okay, so that's what we're looking at here on Bitcoin. CBD is not really showing us much right now. Let's go ahead and look at this, see if anything local is developing. We still are building bearish CVD. We were earlier today. Now we're not. You can see here we were building some bearish CVD. Lower high here, higher high here. Now our open interest was not really increasing, so it wasn't bearish absorption. It was just bearish CVD divs, which is not near as strong as absorption. But that gave us that kind of drop to the downside where we hit into the midline of our channel, and then we saw that 3-wave corrective move to the upside. Let's actually look at this here. Let me get rid of this. Okay, so this, after bouncing, after that bearish CVD divs played out, we had this little dump here, and then look at what happened. Another 3-wave corrective move to the upside. And now we're dumping again. Now this dump looks like a descending channel, which looks corrective as well, telling me we're probably going to do this. Come up here and hit the top of the channel. That's why my long is, or my take profit is still around 87,800 for that scalp that I took today. Let's zoom in on this and check that out real quick while we're here. Let's go into the 3-minute and I just want to look at this structure here to see if we're breaking this descending channel. Yeah, we're breaking this descending channel. So you can see we were just grinding down in this small 3-minute descending channel, starting to break it to the upside. Good. You know, we don't want to break the bigger daily descending channel to the downside yet. We don't want to come down here. If you want to see the impulse play out, we don't want to come down here again first. We want to come up and take the highs first. So this is good. This is good what we're seeing right now, very, very locally. But also, let's zoom out and let's look at our range that has been forming for the past couple days, just this wave 4 range here. So we can take our volume profile. I'm just going to use all the price action within the descending channel. Okay, we're about back testing the point of control after losing it here. You can see the value area low overall has been holding us except for that one flash crash earlier today where we SFP'd the lows. So we're just trading in this volume profile. I am still looking for this high to be taken as a TP1 for my long that I'm in right now. This high at 87.8-ish into the top of the descending channel. And I will look to TP 75% of my long, just in case. It's just a scalp anyways, small scalp trade. Because my entry wasn't good, my position size is not that big. Now, I didn't set my stop below this low because I entered somewhere in here. I set it below this low here. Just, you know, to give me a little bit better of a position size. Okay, so that is what I'm looking at here for Bitcoin. Let's go into, I know I showed this in yesterday's video, but I want to show this again. This is the total chart, and we're going to zoom out to the daily chart. And I want to talk about the bigger, more macro price action that's happening. Because anytime we see a 7-month consolidation range like this, where we do see reaccumulation from the ETFs and from whales, and then Trump wins and we bust to the upside, oftentimes in a healthy market, you will come back down to test what used to be the fair value zone for Bitcoin, the balanced fair value zone where everyone thought the price was appropriate around this area. What is this? 2.26 trillion. And now for crypto, not for Bitcoin, excuse me, for crypto. Now that we have broken it to the upside and had a sort of distribution pattern up in this area, we came down and we back tested what used to be resistance into support, and we're seeing a multi-day bounce from it. You can see we bounced from it literally perfect. So right now the market is saying, okay, you know what, the crypto market cap, it was around this area. We thought this was the fair value for the market, but we chose to make the fair value higher, but this is too high. Let's go back test this and see if the market wants to come back up into this range or not. So far, we have not come back up into this range, and it's trying to decide. And right now, it's in the process of deciding whether it's going to reject and now finally re-enter back within this volume profile, this fair value, or if we're going to break back into it and say, okay, this is the right fair value for the assets, for the market. So, yeah, bounce that we should have expected to bounce here. You know, I should have been looking at this chart more while we were down at 76.6. But I am not going to make the mistake. I am going to be watching for the bearish backtest of the pitchfork that has been holding us and being our trend the almost entire bull market. You bet if we come back up there and start to reject, I'm going to be looking for shorts if I have confirmation on the coins that I want to short as far as their actual charts go. So that is what we're looking at here with the total market cap. Let's see. I mean, guys, not much else happened on any of these coins today. Like Ethereum, we literally have been doing nothing. Let's go zoom in onto the 1-hour chart. You know, just grinding. We're still above this volume profile's value area high. We're still back testing. You can see we're overall trying to hold it. Every time we come down to it and wick past it, we get these buying wicks, these buying tails. Look at these wicks here. Strong buying pressure coming in. Strong buying pressure coming in. And as we speak, coming in. Strong buying pressure. So it's looking like the market wants to see Ethereum bounce from what used to be our overvalued area and continue higher. It's probably just waiting on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin's going to dump, this is going to dump too. We know that altcoins follow Bitcoin. So yes, this is what, You know, and same thing with Ethereum. I mean, not Ethereum, Solana. Now, Solana, I do want to talk about this because we were expecting a rejection near our year-long range point of control. It's also our intermediate range point of control. But I did say that this pitchfork band was acting as super strong and precise resistance. Once we flipped the bottom part, we shot through it, and we have not come to backtest it yet. You can see we front ran here. We front ran today earlier on the drop earlier today. So I am watching for Solana to potentially come down one more time to actually touch what used to be resistance and flip it into support and make one more move up. But right now, if we wanted to, we could look at a very small range that's happening right now on Solana. Just this price action here. We're starting to form a range within this area. So if you really wanted to look at scalping, you could just play that range. Zoom in on lower time frames and you can just grab your volume profile, and I would just do this and look at this range here. Play that range until it breaks. Look for longs near the lows, look for shorts near the highs, with the idea in mind that they are going to be scalp trades only. So yes, you want to be taking 75% of your trades at your TP levels, your local TP levels. You can always leave a little bit to run just in case it breaks up, or if you're shorting the value area high, leave a little bit to run in case it breaks down to hit the pitchfork level. But be aware of what you're doing in the market, you know, like what kind of trading you're doing. Scalp trading versus day trading versus swing trading. This is not an area I'd be looking for swing trades. Okay. Oh, I did want to go into USDT dominance because someone in my comments, and thank you for the guy who mentioned this because it's interesting. So I want to go into USDT dominance here, and I'm going to zoom out onto the daily chart, and I want to just talk about this. So let me go ahead and hide this guy real quick. We're going to go into that channel in a second. But I do see USDT dominance. First of all, we were in this much bigger, like, weekly channel. Let's go zoom out onto the weekly chart. In this channel, kind of on the weekly, I mean, I probably should be doing something like that there. Weekly descending channel, you can see we broke it to the downside, back tested 4 times, couldn't get back in, dropped, made new lows. Okay, so now we are pumping since December. So for 3 or 4 months now, USDT has been pumping, and USDT is inverse to the actual Bitcoin price and to the crypto market. Well, not crypto market cap, but to the coins, to the Bitcoin and the altcoins. If USDT is going up, Bitcoin is most likely going down. Same with the altcoins, because people are taking profits into USDT to be safe. So what I want to talk about, let's zoom back into the daily chart here, and let's look at this daily price action just since we broke the channel down. First of all, since we ended this impulse to the downside, we can take our volume profile from the end of the impulse sideways. We've been ranging sideways since what was this, March of 2024, the same range. March, a lot of altcoins and Bitcoin made highs in March. Since then, we've been ranging sideways. So look at this volume profile. You can see trading around in the volume profile, broke it to the upside, back tested its support, came up to back test our bigger trend, lost it, chopped around near the value area high, back tested again, rejected, back tested again, rejected, back tested again, rejected, came back down to test the value area high support. We did see a bounce, but made a lower high, and then finally broke back into the volume profile. And when we finally broke back into the volume profile, we came all the way down to the value area low, See, we hit value area low, saw a bounce to point of control, another drop to value area low, point of control, value area low again, point of control, higher low, came up to the value area high, rejected a bit, but now we're above the value area high. And are we going to back test this value area high as support and flip it higher? Meaning that if this does continue higher, Bitcoin is going to drop more in the distribution pattern that we are seeing, which I am expecting overall, Bitcoin to drop more. So we could see Bitcoin pump for a little bit more up to 90.5, which would make USDT come down a little bit more to backtest this range. Makes sense in confluence-wise, comparing Bitcoin to USDT. If USDT is at support and Bitcoin is at resistance, we might see the bounce from USDT and the dump from Bitcoin. So just be aware of this. This is how I use these charts for added confluence on my bias in the market. You know, I use the total chart for Bitcoin, I use the total 3 chart for altcoins, and I use the USDT chart for all the market. So, and I want to talk about this impulse that we saw to the upside, because we can look at this. You know, this was like a 1, 2, 1, 2, your big third wave explosion to the upside. That's a 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. So a double 1, 2 impulse looks like it's been completed. Now, what do you usually see after a double 1, 2, after an impulse completes? You see a correction, A, B, C correction to the downside, or it can be more complex. But so far, this does look like an ABC correction. And let's now zoom in onto the 4-hour chart, and let's go into this guy here, this descending channel that we're seeing here on the charts on the lower time frames on the 4-hour. So we'll go into the 4-hour. Let me clean up the chicken scratch. And let's come in here and let's turn this channel on here. Okay. Now, let's check this out. We've been in a descending channel since March 10th, which was around when Bitcoin hit its 76.6 lows. So USDT was pumping while Bitcoin was making a low. Bitcoin has been correcting for a couple weeks now since March 10th to the upside. USDT has been correcting to the downside. But this looks highly corrective to me. Okay, look at this not clear impulsive pattern. And as we are correcting, we could make one more little hit up into this channel, one more flush down to hit that value area high, and see a bigger, this being an A wave, see a B wave up to your potential golden pocket 786 area, and then see one more C wave to the downside. So what do we know? If this is inverse to Bitcoin, if this is going to drop a little bit more, Bitcoin's going to pump a little bit more. Then when we hit our major support back test, USDT is going to pump in a B wave. Bitcoin's going to dump maybe down to 80.7K. We might see then the golden pocket. Let's just do this. This is a fake golden a scenario that hasn't happened yet. So this is a speculative golden pocket. That was the word I was looking for. Speculative golden pocket where, look at, second pivot channel liquidity. I talk about it a lot. You would have the SFP of the highs of the second pivot of the channel into your golden pocket. That would be a great spot to end a B wave if this is going to be a simple ABC correction. A wave down, B wave up, C wave down. Then, you know, if USDT is pumping, Bitcoin's going to be dumping. Maybe Bitcoin dumps to that 80.7 weekly level, and we see a bounce from Bitcoin and the altcoins at their support levels, and this thing starts to dump because Bitcoin is pumping from that level. And then after that, we'll have to see how, you know, we're getting a little bit too far out as far as undeveloped data yet there. So now that is just what I am looking at here on the charts for the next week to a month or so, you know, weeks to months. But yes, USDT, thank you for the person who highlighted this out to me. USDT does look like it has been correcting to the downside since March 10th. We are coming up to support, which means that Bitcoin could roll over if this starts to bounce. Let me zoom out one more time to the weekly chart. And let me go ahead and hide our channels, both of our channels, because I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to hide this fixed range. This overall USDT dominance has been going up like crazy, but that's also because USDT has been more adopted, right? This looks very, very, you know, parabolic, but it's starting to see diminishing returns here. But you can see from the absolute highs here, when was that? June of 2022, which was the bear market, the end of the bear market when Bitcoin was at 16K. So for the entire bull market, we've been in this correction to the downside. Well, overall, I think all of you, just like me, are bullish on crypto. That's why we're in it. That's why we're so passionate about it. That's why we trade it every day. Overall, on the weekly chart, this does look like a weekly correction in a descending channel here. A weekly correction in a descending channel where eventually we do expect to maybe find support, and bust to the upside. Now, if we're busting to the upside, that means Bitcoin's probably going into a bear market, and it could be a number of things. It could just be mass adoption, USDT, but this is dominance, not just the overall amount of USDT. So if dominance is going up this much, then some sort of major catalyst is happening in the markets. But maybe when we come down here on the weekly, Bitcoin starts its bear market, which, look at this, timing wise, this looks like it's about August. Well, the bull market is expected, according to the 4-year cycle, to end in like August to October, that area. So it is possible that this does that on the weekly. Okay, that is it for USDT. Let me go ahead and get rid of that. I'm just going to turn this guy back on. All right. Let's now go into Bitcoin dominance, because I do want to talk about Bitcoin dominance as well. Okay, so let's zoom out to the daily chart, because Bitcoin dominance has been in a really strong uptrend for most of this market. As many of you know, Bitcoin's been running a lot more than the altcoins. We have not seen the altcoin season that many people were expecting. So you can see we've been in this ascending channel on dominance, just going higher and higher and higher, all the way up to like 65% up here. Bitcoin did see a flush down and broke that dominance, or we saw dominance flush down, and we did see that rally in altcoins in November. Since then, like, this looks to me like dominance is correcting, though, after the big impulse down here. 1, 2, 3 wave corrective move to the upside. Now we're kind of dropping. Maybe this is going to be a 1, 2, and then we're going to see a big 3, 4, 5, and dominance is going to break down. So that could mean altcoin season if that happens. But as far as that goes, let's zoom in now a little bit more locally. Let's go into the 4-hour chart. You can see that dominance has been trading around the midline of this channel, and you can see here now even dominance is pushing up as we speak on the 4-hour chart. Dominance overall is holding this midline of the ascending channel, and if we saw a push down here, you could say this is like an A wave here. We're in the process of a B wave, and then we could see that C wave when altcoin season starts, maybe. But Bitcoin's pushing up, and if we even just look at this as a range, you could take your fixed range volume profile. I don't know if the volume profile works on this. Yeah, it does. All right, so we're at the value area high of our little 4-hour range, not little, our decent 4-hour range back from February, the end of February, and we're just trading within this range kind of. But you can see here we do have 2 equal highs, or semi-equal highs here. Actually, pretty much equal highs on the dominance chart. So maybe Bitcoin pumps up to this area. Now, I know dominance is not like a coin that has liquidity. So you can't have an SFP with a coin that doesn't have liquidity in it. This is just dominance. But we can still look at psychology of the market. And if we come up and we take these highs, we could see that rotation down. But you're not taking liquidity. There's no liquidity to be taken. This is just measuring the dominance of Bitcoin versus other coins in the market. So an SFP is not the same thing as it is with actually Bitcoin or any other altcoin. It's a different kind of chart. But will we just be aware of it anyway? Be aware of it anyway. Why not? Let's see here. And we could do that Fibonacci pull from the highs to the lows here. Yeah, we're at our golden pocket now. If we're going to reject, this is the area. You can see here it's a value area high and our golden pocket area. So if dominance does reject where we're at, the value area high, golden pocket, and starts to roll over, maybe we see a small push in some altcoins. That would be nice. Some of the altcoins are beat down way more than Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin starts to pump a little bit, maybe altcoins really start to rip. For I'm not saying for a long time. I'm just saying for a couple days, maybe a week or two, come down to this point of control here. 61%. Who knows? We'll see what happens on the charts. But I'll kind of follow this over the next few weeks here. So if you guys don't see me cover it in a video and you mention it, remind me in the comments. I will look at it as well as USDT as well. Okay, other than that, guys, I mean, a lot of the altcoins, nothing is happening too much on any of these altcoins. Ethereum, Bitcoin, Solana, XRP. I mean, XRP is seeing a little bit of a dump to the downside. We did expect this after that 3-wave corrective move. Now we're seeing another 3-wave corrective move in a complex correction. Of course, all of this is a series of complex corrections, you know, A, B, C. That's why I longed 193.7 down here after we reclaim this low. Yeah, so that's it. But our ABC correction target, as far as this being an A wave, this being a C wave, B wave, excuse me, and this being the C wave, you can see our 1-to-1 to our 1-2-3-6 hasn't quite been hit yet. So I am expecting XRP to fall a little bit more. And that daily around 228 with the 1-to-1 right underneath it, that could be a little good, nice little support area where we do see a little bit of a bounce on XRP. This, like, this guy here could be a bounce area. But I don't think it's going to be could be a major bounce. We'll have to see once we get down there how the chart looks, how Market Cipher looks, our confirmations look. But then you can also see below us, we have the SFP into a naked weekly and a naked daily point of control near our 1.236. So I do like that as well. The big support is this guy down here. Same as the prior videos. I'm not going to go into it too much. I've shown this in all the videos. Nothing has changed. Okay. Link. I mean, Link's, you know, kind of the same thing as yesterday. We're not really seeing much here at all. Chopping around our value area high. We are in our rejection area where we did expect to find some resistance. So, you know, once again, this looks like it's about to roll over. Now, I'm not following this channel too much anymore. I'm just going to get rid of it. If anything, I mean, I tried this the other day, the repull of the channel from the new low here. I just don't like it as much. It's not as respected. I guess it's okay. It's okay. You can see the midline if we zoom in onto the hourly chart. Where's that at? There we go. You can see it is being respected, the midline. And what you want to look at when you make a channel like this is how well is it respected. Because if it's respected well in the past, it will be respected well in the future. Midline held as support, lost it, flipped it to resistance. Resistance, broke above it, lost it again, back tested it, down to the lows. Deviation of the low real quick, and then now back into it. Resistance, you know. So, yeah, we're just trading in kind of the same sort of ascending channel type price action here. And as long as we don't break this value area high, we're probably going to roll over and come down to the point of control. And you can see the point of control has a daily and the 786 down there. And then also it's an SFP of these lows. And then, of course, we have our other bigger levels of support that I've marked out. And if you guys want to check those in more detail, just go into the prior videos from a few days ago. Yeah, other than that, nothing else to cover. I think that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much. Let me know if you guys have anything you want me to look at. I do appreciate all of your guys' support. First of all, I want to say this. I genuinely do. I'm super grateful by all the love and support that I see in the comments, so thank you for that. And I'll keep them coming. I'll keep putting out videos every day. Hopefully this is being of some guide to you guys. If you guys got anything out of this video, guys and gals, got anything out of this video, please like the video, and then please share it or subscribe if you feel called to. See you guys later.